All right, so we are recording. Maria, so nice to have you here. Thank you very much.
Well,
ladies, I just wanted to introduce Maria to you, and the fact that Maria's in Spain, I'm in France, and we're talking here about it's an inside job because we are all having to stay at home. We're all having to sort of look after ourselves at home. So thank you, Maria, for being here. And how are things with you?
Sorry, I'm literally just muting because my Facebook notifications and my WhatsApp are pinging like mad, as always, and I forgot to mute them, so apologies. So hi, Fiona, thank you so much for inviting me to come and have a chat with you, my darling. It's always such an absolute pleasure to spend any time with you, so thank you. I'm absolutely fine. As you know, I'm in Spain, and Spain is on a massive lockdown, and I just heard yesterday that the two weeks we thought we were going to get, which would end, started on Monday, so we're only heading towards the end of the first week. We've got another week, but it looks like now we might have 2 more weeks, which means a month of lockdown. So for me personally, I will say up front, it doesn't affect me that much because, like you, I work from home and I live in isolation apart from with my 3 dogs. So for me, things haven't changed massively, except that, you know, come the weekend, you can't go down to the beach bar and have a drink with a friend. Also, you're not supposed to go very far with your dogs. I have 3 big dogs, and trying to take 3 of them on a leash is, I just can't do it. So I still, where I walk my dogs is very remote anyway. I rarely ever run into any people. So if I'm honest, I am taking a risk because you can be fined now for being out without good reason. And I'm just hoping if I do get stopped and they see these 3 big dogs, they'll just say, oh, well, maybe that's good enough reason. Because there's just nowhere close enough for me to walk them. So I'm risking it, and if I get stopped and I get fined, then I'll have to rethink it. But so for me, it hasn't changed massively, but I know, and I've been thinking about this a lot, because obviously I have family and friends all over the world, family in the UK mostly. I've got one brother in Nairobi, and luckily Nairobi at the moment, there's only been, I think, 4 cases so far, but we know how quickly that can change. And I've got people all over the world, and I'm thinking, you know, for people who are used to, you know, maybe sending their kids off to school, for the younger friends of mine and what have you, and for people who's, you know, used to going out to work and the husband goes out and suddenly you're all stuck at home all the time.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult for people. And I shared a meme yesterday that came across to me from one of my social media accounts, and it was a woman sitting at her desk with her back to you, and there's 3 kids on the floor, 3 sort of young, not toddlers, but, you know, I don't know, maybe 9, 8, 9 upwards, and they're bound in tape. They've got tape over their mouth, and they're just lying there. And it's so funny, but I thought, so many women around the world must be experiencing this now. You as well, because you have 2 boys, don't you?
I've got 2 boys, and I've got my partner's 2 boys here as well. So there's 4 young boys
Oh
of that age.
yeah. So
they're all 11, 12, 13 and 15.
wow.
And I couldn't tell you what I was doing on the other day. I really wanted to get this chapter of my book done. I was really concentrating. And I had to scream at them 6 times. And in the end, just went, it's just not working.
Yeah, it's difficult. What I found, even though I don't have kids, is that, and the virus isn't affecting me in as much as what I've just explained, Fiona, but what I am finding is that because there's so much energy and activity around the world because of it, like I said, my WhatsApp, my, you know, phone blowing up with, you know, one day this week earlier, I had over 100 messages from 2 of my WhatsApp groups, and I have 3 WhatsApp groups, and I'm like, oh, I need to sit for an hour in the evening just catching up with it all. And also, like now, you and I are concerned to give our support to, because we're both coaches and healers, and we're concerned to give our support to the women, you know, in our groups and our networks as much as we can. So you're thinking, what do I need to do for that? So hats off to you for doing this and bringing me in with you. So little things like this have an impact as well. They kind of just interrupt the workflow. But I'm a great believer that everything happens for a reason.
Oh, you're frozen, Marie. Maria, you've frozen. Well, this is gonna, you froze for a while, but I'm just explaining this happens all the time as well, because everybody's on the only lifeline that we have on the internet. And certainly the servers for the school, for the homework and things, you know, they work intermittently. We couldn't get our shopping done over the weekend, and we can't get it, we can't collect it until Tuesday, because they just don't have the means to sort of fill up the shelves. I went shopping this morning, first time in a week, so different to last week, because now everybody has, like you, I saw you wrote earlier on today about this panic buying. But if there aren't any imports from some of these companies that you normally buy from, you know, your frozen veg, or, you know, I went to the market, there are no stall holders there.
Yeah, but the thing is, Fiona, what happens is, and I remember this because I'm a bit older than you probably won't remember it, but many years ago in the UK we had a massive sugar shortage because there was a problem with the sugarcane production. Do you remember it? It's a good long time ago, but showing our age. But anyway, exactly, the minute it went into the newspapers, we didn't have the internet then, but word still spreads. And then the next thing you know, people going out and they're buying like 10, 20 bags of sugar, and they create a shortage.
I know.
So it's the same thing here, this panic buying. If people had just carried on as normal, the supplies that are in the existing supply chain would probably have lasted for several more weeks.
Easily.
You know, so it's the panic buying that's created this, and it frustrates the heck out of me. And a friend of mine posted on her timeline, because she's gone into another supermarket in the UK, and it's just empty, and she's just said, you know, you selfish, you know, think about other people. And this is the thing, when you're stockpiling a ton of stuff at home, you're depriving other people, because now you've got 10 times more stock than you normally would have, and it's just really, really selfish. And she said, you know, we're not being forced to live in concentration camps, and it echoed what I said on my post about, if this isn't World War II, you know, and our ancestors.
But it is interesting to see that human nature just takes over. People can't help it, and you know, this is what why I wanted you on today, because you and I both deal with people to do with human nature, whether it's overeating when you're tragically stressed, or whether it's, you know, how we can communicate with certain people. We have to be able to deal with the situations that we're given, and it's kind of like, well, okay, so I can't buy that, so I'll have to buy something else then. Or, well, and I said the other day, you know, we don't need to eat 3 times a day. I mean, I am a health and a food coach, and we don't need to eat that much a day, especially if we're sitting at home all day. We don't need to eat 3 meals a day, but it's become a habit. And, you know, having all this gourmet food, this access to convenient foods and things like that, we need to go back to sort of home cooking and cooking like our grandma used to do. You know, that's what happened when I came to France. I couldn't get the availability of the foods that I was used to all year round. We only here in France, in this region anyway, can only get the things that are in season. So we have to look at things in a completely different way. So this is a huge gift, and I'm sure, Maria, you will agree that we've been given a gift by Mother Nature, and we've certainly helped Mother Nature clean the air with so many, you know, less traffic going around.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a huge gift. If we can see this as a gift of how we're coming home to ourselves and kind of going, actually, what really matters? What really matters? It's not that we can fill our wardrobe up with clothes, or we can fill our cupboards up with really posh food. It's like, God, let's go past survival for a little bit and the panic buying, and let's go into, well, wow, what can I really get from this? It's like, what do I really value? And you can tell me what you value, but for me, what came up was like my health, my family, and just being in nature, being in the environment. And you kind of go, and that's it. If I had that at the end of the day, I could possibly say I'm a very satisfied woman.
Good.
Are you
Step back?
Yeah.
Step back and ask themselves, you know, that very question: what is important? What do I value in life? And as you say, you know, for me, of course, you think that, oh my God, how bad is this going to get? Without being panicked, because I tend to be I don't scare easily, basically, and it's just how I am. But of course you think of your family, because as I said, one's in Nairobi, the rest are in the UK. I'm in touch frantically all the time with them, and I know everything is okay, but always it's top priority. And straight away you realize that the most important thing in my life is my family. Obviously outside of my immediate, my dog's here, and I care about my friends, but yeah, that's a priority. And I love what you say about just simplifying with food, because a lot of us, we just go too much down the convenience food route, and we don't take time to spend at home with families and having a meal with the family, and much more of that's going to happen. And I think it's also a really good time to look at, well, what can I do now? Things that I'm always complaining I never have time to do. So one of my friends in my network, actually, you know her, Marion, she's in our White Lighters group, yeah? She said, my house is going to be cleaner than it's ever been in its life. And I said, you know what, that's a great idea, because decluttering is also a really good thing to do, not only for your physical space, but decluttering helps you clear your mind. So there's probably loads of places you could start. You could start small with a drawer here, or a corner of a room there, and just declutter and make piles, pile it up in your back garden or wherever you can, if you can't get out to the I think is a really good idea is, if you really have lots of time on your hands and you just don't know what to do with yourself, reading is obviously a big one. Yes, of course, loads of Netflix. You can do that in the evening. But what about going on to like a teaching platform like Udemy or Teachable? Because they have, it's like the Aladdin's cave of stuff if you want to learn something. Bless you. Goodness me. God, good health. It's an Aladdin's cave of fantastic courses, just about anything you can think of. I mean, I must have done 30 just little courses on Udemy. And the brilliant thing about the Udemy courses is you can get them for like $10. Now, obviously, the people who do them maybe have bigger programs, but there's no hard sell. There's none of this upsell stuff you get with everything. And the courses are always really good quality by really good, well-qualified people. So if you have a hobby or something you're interested in or you want to know more about, just go to Udemy or Teachable. I say Udemy because I've used it so much. I know the quality of the courses are great and they are dirt cheap. And so you just go and have a look, think, oh, I'd be interested in knowing more about that. And you just download the course and you just, you learn something. Some of them even do like a certificate that you've done the course. So I think that's a phenomenal way to spend time and learn something new.
That's brilliant, because I was also saying at the beginning of the week, because this is all new for us as well, so we were able to go out and about last week. This week we're not, and I'm seeing everybody around me cleaning up the gardens, big bags of rubbish outside. So I mean, it's a brilliant time for detoxing the house, but it's an opportunity to emerge as a completely different person. Now, you and I both do work helping women to transform into a completely different version of herself. And you kind of think, God, what have I put off, or what haven't I been able to do for myself over the last few years? No matter how hard I try, why aren't I able to sort of, whether it's, keep the weight loss off, or just be in a healthy body, or feel I've got more energy? I wonder what I could do. My God, you could do so much. You could turn your body around in 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I am guilty of, I have put some weight back on this past year, and I still blame it on a chunk of time last year when I had so many visitors, wall-to-wall visitors for like weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and I put it on then and I still haven't got it off. And I know I need to do more stretching. I go out hiking with my dogs for just a short one in the morning, but I do an hour a day, every day with the boys, and it's not an easy flat, there's a little bit of effort, but I need to stretch. So one of my next suggestions was going to be, if you can't get out to your gym, because I've got 2 friends who are fanatic gym, two of my closest friends, my best and one other, fanatic gym bunnies, love to go out cycling and do marathons, all of this malarkey, and they can't do it. And they're like, oh my God, we're going to go stir crazy. So the answer is to get there's a ton of fantastic training videos on YouTube. from professional yoga instructors, Pilates, Tai Chi, Zumba, you name it, it's on there. So just go and find someone you like. So a couple of nights ago, I thought I have definitely got to get back into this stretching room. So I have stretching stuff because I need to do that more than anything. So I've actually started doing half an hour stretching, yoga stretching with a lady called Jen Hillman. She's lovely. I like her style. She's very low key. Some of them for me, when they're all, you know, high-fiving all over the place, and that doesn't work for me. But it's just finding someone whose energy resonates with you. And there is no shortage, and there's no excuse not to get some exercise in.
No, I also have one who does a great 30-day introduction to yoga. It's Yoga with Adrian or something like that. What I might do is underneath this post, I'll put some of the links to using me. If you can give me the spelling of it, we can put that underneath. Because
I'll get the link. I'll get the link for Jen. Because what I like about her is I have had a problem with my lower back forever. And I have for my groin, so I really am a very, very inflexible person. But she does them for people who have got limited mobility, and also like for older people. So I will share the cup, and there's one she does, and it's so simple. It's just head and neck exercises. And of course, when we're working at home, most of us who work from home are on the computer a lot, and you get locked down here in your neck. So it's so important to do it. And my chiropractor is always telling me off for not doing enough. And of course, I can't even see him now. I was due, and of course now it's so.
There are lots of things that we take for granted, like you said earlier on, going to the hairdresser, or going and getting your shopping. So, and I find that if, you know, the whole family are going to be under one roof, you know, you've got your partner under your roof, which might be a struggle if you want to carry on with work or do something, if you're used to having your own time and doing your own thing. Also, you've got the kids strapped up on the floor with bungee straps and sellotape. And trying to find activities for them so that they can run around. Now, we're lucky we've got a garden, but a lot of people don't have a garden. You can't even go running up the road. Well, I think you can, but there's, you know, you've got to go one or two at a time. And you've got to have a piece of paper to say where you are. So there's lots of things going on. But I mean, this stir craziness, I would like to speak to you again about that, to get some hints and tips. We've given everybody so many good ideas of what they can do for themselves, as in with, you know, programs that they can follow, or, you know, getting things done around the house. But you know, if you can emerge as a different version of you, it's not just the activity, it's kind of like discovering who you want to be.
It's kind of, in a way, it's stop the world, not stop the world I want to get off, but stop the world because I've got to slow down for a little while. You've got a
beautiful opportunity, and you're pressing the pause button, and you're then going, it's not going to actually just last for a week. This might last for like 6 weeks. Ooh, okay. What do I want to be different? I mean, if I could say 6 weeks, I could be, your body changes every single cell in a year. I mean, your eyes in a day, your skin in 25 days, your liver and kidneys in months.
Which is amazing.
So different in a very short space of time. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, Maria. You've been a great insight for some of these other websites that we can actually all go and have a look at, and we can emerge as a completely different person, you know, just because
we can. Well, two things before we wind it up, Fiona. I know you want to keep these short, but one thing is that to remember that the human spirit is incredibly strong, and we are very, very adaptable as human beings. We will adapt. Yes, it's all a big shock now because it's new, but whatever comes, whatever the outcome will be, we will evolve and we will adapt. So just sort of remind yourself, everything passes, everything will get okay again, one way or another, however that okay looks in the future. The other thing I wanted to mention quickly, which we did talk about briefly before we started, was obviously, you know, I work with people who are struggling to overcome narcissistic abuse, and a hot topic at the moment across the internet is, of course, that with this isolation, there's a big concern that domestic violence is going to spike.
Yes.
Which is very, very understandable, because just being at home in a normal situation, tensions rise unless you work really hard to mitigate it and do the sort of stuff we've just talked about. But I think the one thing, because I've shared some links in my Facebook group to them today, that if domestic violence is an issue, here are some links. The important thing for people to remember, if they are watching and they are in a situation of any kind of domestic violence or potential domestic abuse, is that the law is still operational. They cannot hide behind, and nor should you let them hide behind the fact that, oh, well, there's this health scare. Don't let them. I read one case on one of the links I read earlier today about this guy was stopping his wife from getting medication. You know, this is like criminal behaviour. Another guy was threatening to lock her out so that she would be unable to be safe in the house. So it can fly from all different angles when it comes to an abusive person. But if you're in that situation, you have got to reach out and get help from someone who can help you, be it the police or a woman's aid shelter. They are there. You've just got to get online, Google it, and find someone and reach out, and do not leave yourself open to more abuse. So just wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I used to have a number. This is how we know each other, Marie, because you've helped me through some of those things as well. Like thought stories from like 30 years ago. So yes, I used to have like a safe house or something number in the back of my book. But I mean, there will be SOS numbers that you can read in Samaritans or.
Yeah, I've listed quite a few on this.
First point of call that you just know that you're not dealing with this on your own, and in fact the behaviour of someone else isn't normal, and you don't have to take it. I know it's terrifying to kind of be stuck in a situation like that, and so we do all sorts of things to ourselves that we wouldn't normally. Some people turn to alcohol, some people turn to food or drugs, or something, just sort of numb themselves out. But that was just a very serious note. But it's when we're all under one roof, this is why I wanted to bring you on today, is it's necessary to understand that, you know, your behaviour will be different, their behaviour will be accentuated. You're not alone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and for whatever reason you find you're turning to unhealthy ways of living just to cope, there is a way out. You're not fixed, you're not final. You can renew yourself in a very short space of time, but it does take inner work.
Effort. You have to take the action that it needs to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And I know it's not easy because I deal with women who are in these types of situations, but you have got to take action if you're in that situation. So absolutely, yeah.
Good. Maria, I'd love to have you back again next week. I think we need to be able to journal what's going on, because this is how the population is changing at the moment, and I'm all about how the population changes because we are evolving, and I do believe obviously this is a big kick up the backside to help us all evolve with a little bit more compassion and appreciate where we are and get our values straight. But thank you so much for being with me today.
My pleasure, and I look forward to next time, my darling. Take care and keep up the good work.
You too. We're all needed. Thank you very much. Bye, love.